Welcome to dxSudoku training video number 84. In this part 2 video for the puzzle solving technique called Bivalue Elimination, the solving of 3 super extreme puzzles will be demonstrated. As a prerequisite for this video, watch part 1 for this puzzle solving technique. As a special interest video, watch dxSudoku video number 60. In this number 60 video, a puzzle having a difficulty level of 12,990 is created from scratch. The solving of this 12,990 level puzzle will be the second demonstration in this video. To be honest with you, I never imagined I would be able to solve this puzzle. You can use Bivalue Elimination to replace all the following puzzle solving techniques listed here. Bivalue elimination does have limitations, and they will be discussed at the end of this video. Here is the Sudoku puzzle solving algorithm we will be using in this video. First, we clear off the easy stuff. If there are no bivalue cells, then we try using additional puzzle solving techniques. Once we have bivalue cells, we do bivalue elimination. If we find a contradiction, we set the starting cell value and we go back to step 1 and clear off the easy stuff again. We keep repeating the process until the puzzle is solved. Here is the bivalue elimination puzzle solving technique algorithm we will be using. First, we choose a good starting cell for the chaining sequence. We will look for a bivalue cell where both candidates add one strong link to the chaining sequence right from the start. After we choose, we color the background of the starting cell gray so we don't forget which one was the starting cell. We also color the starting candidate purple, indicating it is our initial premise of being off or false. For each candidate numbered 1 through 9, we highlight all the cells having the current candidate number, and we look for strong and weak links. When we color a candidate purple for a weak link, if the cell has only one remaining candidate, we color the one remaining candidate green. Anytime we color a candidate green, we do 3 things. If there are any remaining candidates within the same cell not colored purple, we color them purple. We then highlight all the cells for the candidate just colored green. We then carefully put in all the obvious weak links for the new candidate just colored green. If we can't find any additional strong or weak links to add to our chaining sequence, then we use candidate level special tactics. At the candidate level, we look for locked candidates, naked pairs, naked triples, and X-wings. If we find a contradiction, we set the starting cell to the number of the purple candidate. If our chaining sequence completes without any contradictions, then we choose all the green candidates as the value of their cells. If our chaining sequence stalls, we then choose a new starting cell and try again. We keep repeating the process until the chaining sequence either succeeds or fails. Consider the following Sudoku. We are now showing the Sudoku summary window for this puzzle. In addition to the 7 base puzzle solving techniques, this puzzle has 1 swordfish, 2 skyscrapers, 1 2-string kite, 2 empty rectangles, 1 XY wing, and 1 hidden rectangle. It has 2 XY chains, 16 nice loops, 7 almost locked sets, and 2 forcing chains. This puzzle has an Sudoku rating of extreme with a difficulty score of 9,680. We begin by getting the easy stuff out of the way. We clear off 3 hidden singles, 1 set of locked candidates, 1 naked pair, and 1 naked single. We choose cell 1,6 to be our starting cell for our chaining sequence. The possible 8 candidate is colored in purple, meaning we are assuming it is false. I changed the notation from the part 1 video. 81 means the 8 is purple and the 1 is green for the starting cell. We create the chaining sequence and it ends with a contradiction. Take a closer look at the cell 2,9. The chaining sequence resulted in cell 2,9 being empty. This is a contradiction to our assumption every cell in the puzzle must be set to 1 number. This is an additional 3rd type of contradiction not covered in the Bivalue Elimination Part 1 video. The contradiction means our original premise was wrong, so we choose 8 for the value of our starting cell 1,6. As a result of setting the 8 in cell 1, 6, we clear off another round of easy stuff. We set a bunch of cells to a value after a boatload of naked and hidden singles. We do another round of by-value elimination. This time we choose cell 1, 2 to be our starting cell. And we are using the possible 3 candidate as the starting candidate of the chaining sequence. The chaining sequence results in a contradiction. Notice the house making up row 4 and the house making up block 4 have two cells having a value of 3 set on. The contradiction means our original premise was wrong, so we choose 3 for the value of our starting cell 1, 2. We clear off another boatload of easy stuff and the puzzle is now solved. For this puzzle, having a difficulty level of 9,680, it required 2 uses of the by-value elimination puzzle-solving technique to solve this puzzle. Consider the following Sudoku. The Sudoku solver required 1 Sudoku and 14 forcing chains to solve this puzzle. Sudoku is rating this puzzle as extreme with a difficulty score of 12,990. This puzzle was one of the ones created in dxSudoku video number 60 on building puzzles from scratch. We begin by getting the easy stuff out of the way. After having a stalled chaining sequence, we choose cell 1, 7 to be our starting cell a second time. But this time, we are using the possible 7 candidate as the starting candidate of the chaining sequence. The chaining sequence results in a contradiction. There are 2 candidate 1s colored green in the house making up column 3. The contradiction means our original premise was wrong, so we choose 7 for the value of our starting cell 1, 7. This time there is no easy stuff to clear off, so we do another round of by-value elimination. We choose cell 6, 7 to be our starting cell, and we are using the possible 6 candidate as the starting candidate of the chaining sequence. The chaining sequence resulted in cell 3, 6 being empty. This is a contradiction of having 1 of each number in each house. The contradiction means our original premise was wrong, so we choose 6 for the value of our starting cell 6, 7. This time, we find some easy stuff and we clear it off. We start another round of by-value elimination, choosing cell 2, 4 as the starting cell, and we are using the possible 1 candidate as the starting candidate of the chaining sequence. The chaining sequence results in a contradiction. There are 2 candidate 5s colored green in the house making up column 6. The contradiction means our original premise was wrong, so we choose 1 for the value of our starting cell 2, 4. We clear off another boatload of easy stuff and the puzzle is now solved. For this puzzle, having a difficulty level of 12,990, it required 3 uses of the by-value elimination puzzle-solving technique to solve the puzzle. Consider the following Sudoku. The Sudoku solver required 2 Sudokus, 2 XY chains, 12 nice loops, 9 forcing chains, and 14 forcing nets to solve this puzzle, plus 1 bug plus 1 and 1 finned X-wing. This is pretty much the hardest puzzle I could find. What is interesting about this puzzle is the chaining sequences were by far the hardest to create. Many times, in order to proceed with the chaining sequence, I had to use candidate level special tactics, as described in the part 1 video. After many stalled chaining sequences, we choose cell 8, 6 to be our starting cell for our chaining sequence. We are using the possible 5 candidate as the starting candidate of the chaining sequence. We begin the chaining sequence and appear to be stalled until we find a candidate level naked pair and we update our notes. We color the target candidates in purple. There was only 1 remaining candidate in cell 1, 4, so we color it green. We find 2 more candidate level naked pairs and we update our notes. We color the target candidates in purple. Much to my surprise, we find a candidate level skyscraper and we update our notes. We color the target candidates in purple. Without the skyscraper, the chaining sequence would have stalled. This is because it allows us to set the 8 candidate in cell 3, 7 to green. We find another candidate level naked pair and we update our notes. We color the target candidates in purple. The last naked pair opens up a new naked pair and we update our notes. We color the target candidates in purple. There is only one remaining candidate in cell 2,1, so we color it green. We continue our chaining sequence and we find a contradiction. Cell 8,3 does not have any values. This means our original premise was wrong. So we choose 5 for the value of cell 8,6. We clear off the easy stuff. And we pick a new starting cell so we can start another round of Bivalue elimination. We are using the possible 4 candidate as the starting candidate of the chaining sequence. We begin the chaining sequence and we find a set of type 2 lock candidates and we update our notes. This is probably the first time I found a set of lock candidates type 2 that actually mattered. Previously, the type 2 ones I had found only existed because I had not yet finished adding the simpler stuff to the chaining sequence. We color the target candidate in purple. So far, I have found very few type 2 lock candidates at the candidate level chaining sequence. Next, we find a candidate level naked triple and we update our notes. This frickin' 222 naked triple took me forever to find. And this is the second time I've done this puzzle. I should have taken better notes. We color the target candidates in purple. The previously annoying 222 naked triple opened up a candidate level X-wing with the possible 2 candidate. We color the target candidates in purple. The X-wing allows us to color the 2 in cell 7,2 in green. Before I could finish the chaining sequence, the same skyscraper showed up a second time. As before, I could not complete the chaining sequence without using it. The chaining sequence completes without any contradictions. For this starting cell and starting candidate, we have the Bivalue elimination special case. So we choose all the green candidates as the value of their cells. The puzzle is now solved. For this puzzle, having a difficulty level of 19,806, it required only 2 uses of the Bivalue elimination puzzle solving technique. I have not been successful using Bivalue elimination with puzzles requiring the use of the brute force puzzle solving technique. Also, 2 puzzles requiring the use of forcing chains and forcing nets I was not able to solve using Bivalue elimination. Bivalue elimination did not work with these puzzles because one only had a small number of Bivalue cells and the other one did not have any Bivalue cells. However, one of the puzzles I was able to solve using tri-value elimination. With tri-value elimination, cells having 3 possible candidates instead of 2 are used. You assume 2 of the candidates are false and 1 is true. If you get a contradiction, you keep going with the other 2. If 2 out of the 3 results in a contradiction, you choose the non-contradiction candidate as the value of the cell. I need to spend more time working with tri-value elimination. Once I perfect it, I plan to do a future tutorial video. My hope is, with some practice, I will be able to solve the puzzles that have stumped me with Bivalue elimination. This completes dxSudoku training video number 84. Please support dxSudoku by subscribing to my channel, making a donation, or purchasing my book on Amazon. When people contribute, it is very motivating for me to produce more content. Thank you for your generous support.